Hey, how you doing? This is DJ here. I'm probably gonna wait maybe a minute or so just to see who's gonna jump on and join us. So how are you doing? Yeah, tonight I want to talk about something, and this is this whole thing about the ideal client. The ideal client is something that when we started Profit from Coaching, we talked a lot about defining your ideal client, who is your ideal client, how do you attract them, and that sort of thing. And it's just something that we have done for, quite a while. And a lot of people do it. It's the whole concept of the ideal client. Now, we did something really radical. A lot of people do it. It's almost like the first thing you do if you work with people in business. The first thing you tend to do is you sit down with them and you look at defining their ideal client. Now, however, what I've observed was what caused us to just walk away from this. Just one moment, I'm actually, as I'm talking to you, I'm doing something which I shouldn't be doing, and that's multitasking. So I'm actually talking to you, and at the same time, I'm inviting people. I'm just going to stop doing that. Brilliant. All right. Hey, nice one, bro. Good to have you on. Now, so the thing is, people keep saying define your ideal client. Now, we stopped doing that. Now, why did I stop doing that? And I'm going to explain in a moment. So this is going to be I know it's very contrarian because a lot of the gurus say you've got to define your ideal client. The problem with this is people tend to get very, very fluffy. So a lot of times when you ask the average entrepreneurial person to define their ideal client, see, this is what they tend to do. They get very, very fluffy. They look at the kind of person who they would like to work with, the kind of person who they would really enjoy working with. And usually a lot of people would define their ideal client as their ideal client for a lot of people is who they used to be. So if I was broke and now I'm not as broke as I used to be, then my ideal client would be people who are broke too, because I know what it's like to be broke and I want to help broke people. And the problem with that is this basically would cause you to start thinking like a charity rather than a business, right? Because we think our ideal client is someone who would, who we could really help and who would enjoy our help, and who our help would really benefit a great deal. Now, hey, Onway, thanks, and thanks for showing up. Really appreciate you. And that is the problem with this whole ideal client thing. And for a long time, as I was working with clients, I began to realize that just because we use the term ideal client, it's just something in our brains that just don't really click with what it is we're meant to do. So after a few years of using the ideal client and where it worked with some people and it didn't work with some people, we decided to scrap it and we just changed it. And it was just a small change that made a big difference. Now, what was this change? We strapped our ideal client and we started having people work on defining their ideal buyer. Right? Now, this is not a play on words, and I promise you I'm going to explain why we did this and why this makes a big difference. Now, so we switched from ideal client to ideal buyer. And just by doing that, first of all, our own revenues grew, but also our clients began to get much better results. Why? Because of the focus. And that's the simple reason why. Now, let me explain this. Now, like I said earlier on, with a lot of people, when they think ideal client, what our brain begins to think is, who would I like to work with? Who can I really help? And who can I really make a big difference in their lives? That's very nice and it's very fluffy and it's very charitable. Unfortunately, you're not building hey, Lopez, how you doing? Thanks for showing up. You're not building a charity. You are building a business. Now, with a business, right? Your major objective is profits. And we've got to really understand that. Your major objective in business is profits. Now, your mission, let me just clarify something. Your mission in starting the business might be to help people and change people's lives and bring a revolution to an industry. But from a business perspective, the purpose of business is profiting from the marketplace, right? And the key to profiting is generating buyers and delivering a product or service at profit, right? So ultimately, if you are not generating buyers, your business would soon not be a business, because without cash flow, the business can't survive. So When you say, I'm looking to attract an ideal client, unfortunately for a lot of people, we usually think the people I would want to help, the people I would like to help, the people who would get benefit from help. But when you think ideal buyer, it's a different thing. Who is the person? So ideal buyer would think, ideal client would be, who is the kind of person who I would really like to work with? Ideal buyer, on the other hand, is who is the person who is most likely to be able to buy from me, willing to buy from me, and I'm able to deliver to them at profit. And just by having that mindset switch, your approach to your business is considerably different. Hey, Kemi, how you doing? Thanks for showing up. So let's just look at these two scenarios. When I'm sitting down with a coach or a consultant or a business owner, my question to them is, so tell me, who is your ideal buyer? And in defining your ideal buyer, we look at three core things, and I'm going to explain these three things. Number one, the first thing we look at is, do they have a problem or a frustration that they want to fix, or do they have something that they want to achieve? So there's an aspiration there, an aspiration to move away from something, or an aspiration to move towards or acquire something else. That must be there. Number two, do they have the resources to invest in getting this done? And this is really important, right? Or in plain English, can they afford you? Really, really simple, right? So your ideal client is a person who has a well-defined objective, an aspiration, either something they want to move away from. Hey, Pam, how you doing? Thanks for showing up. So they have a clearly well-defined objective, right? Something they want, something that they aspire to, either something to aspire to move to or something they aspire to move away from. Number two, they are well positioned with your help. Listen to this. They are well positioned with your help to be able to achieve this, which means if you come into the mix with whatever it is that you offer, you can help them get that thing. So whatever it is. So let's say, just hypothetically, this person's frustrated because they look in the mirror and they don't like what they see since they had their second baby. They just, they can't fit into those old dresses anymore. And every time they, when they look in the mirror and they look at what they look like now compared to what they looked like 5 years ago, they don't like it. And they've been thinking about it. They're frustrated by it. And that. So first of all, they have something they really want. Right. And they desperately desire to move to fit back in those old dresses again. Number two, that you have the skills or the resources or the tools or a product or a service that can bring a transformation for them. Number three, and this is really the key thing, they have the ability and desire to get that thing done. And when we say ability, among other things, I mean they can afford you. Right? Your ideal buyer is a buyer, not someone who wants it, but it's the kind of person who probably is already spending money trying to fix that problem. But that your solution coming into the mix would help bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. So in a sense, when you're sitting down to define who it is you're looking to help, we're not looking at an ideal client. Okay, but an ideal buyer, right? So again, it's not a play on words. It isn't a play on words at all. It's just the way our brains tend to work. And this is from experience of working with quite a number of clients. I was just very frustrated because, and I struggled for a while until I realized that small thing was making a big difference. And you see, the reason is this: until you're making minimum, 6 figures, consistently, regularly, your major objective in business is acquiring buyers. You need to be thinking around buyer acquisition, right? So even in defining the person you're working with, you've got to be thinking of acquiring buyers, not acquiring clients, right? Because let's face it, a buyer spends money. A client does not have to spend money. You can get free clients, but you don't get free buyers. So just by switching from attracting ideal clients, which is what a lot of people use, but by just nailing it to ideal buyers, it forces the brain to focus on the core things, which is people who are investing money and having you help them get what they want. So hope this has been very useful. Thanks for showing up. And then Bookie shows up as well. Awesome. Good to have you on, babe. My wife doesn't usually show up on my live, so it's good to have you, right? Good. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Lola. Thanks, everyone. Hope this has been very useful for you. So just, my advice is ditch this whole ideal client thing, and focus on ideal buyers, right? Because you're looking for the people who are most likely going to buy from you, and you can help them get the results that they want with whatever it is you're offering. That's a summary of that all. Hope that's been useful. By the way, if you haven't got my new book yet, what on earth are you doing? The book is called Discovery Call Magic. Just go to discoverycallmagic.com and get the book now. And the purpose of this book really is to help you have conversations, one-to-one conversations with prospects that converts to buyers. It's discoverycallmagic.com. If there's anyone who's listening to this, please help me type it up in the comment section so folks who just go ahead and click on it and get your own copy of the book. The book is now live. It's now available. You order it and you get it. It's delivered to you via email. So as soon as you get it, you've got the book on your device. Read it, implement it, and get phenomenal results. Thanks for showing up. Really appreciate you all. You're all amazing, right? And I'm going to be doing a few videos over the next few days, so be on the lookout. Everything I'm going to be sharing is focused on helping you grow your business, helping you get better results, but also encouraging you to get my book. All right. Thanks a lot. You're all amazing. And bye for now.